Hi, and welcome back to Realistic Sustainability. I don't know what to call this. Product review with Mike? I don't know. I told you last week that I would start taking some of these things that I'm using on a regular basis and at least just let you know what I think about them. Well, I didn't start there. I just kind of, my original concept was I'll just give you my opinion. Then the engineer in me came out, and I'm like, well, I should find a way to rate them and yada, yada, yada. So I did. I'm sure you're shocked. But what I've decided to do is give them a 5-star rating, kind of a Yelp kind of thing, but on cost, packaging, quality and durability, materials, transit, or that's part of that embodied energy of getting it from one place to another, disposability and waste, which is also its ability to be recycled, and my personal experience. So that's what I did is I've taken some of these products and I just kind of broke them into those things. And I'll explain a little bit as we go, considering this is the first time I've ever done it. So the first products that I've actually decided to go with is I have these bamboo toothbrushes. And I'm not necessarily sure if I should be saying the names of the companies or not, but hey, I bought them, I used them, I get to say if I like them or not, right? I went on Amazon, which, as you know, is not going to help the transportation side, but I did. I went on Amazon and bought Eve Eco bamboo toothbrushes. There is a ton of them in there. There's actually 12 toothbrushes that come in one box. I've bought these before. When I first bought them, they came in completely different packing material, but I'll get to that in a minute. I hate plastic toothbrushes because I never want to swap them out. You're supposed to swap them out like every 3 months, and some people even do it every month. Well, just so you know, and I think you do know already, but every toothbrush that's ever been created on this planet is still here if it's plastic. So I have a hard time tossing out toothbrushes. I would keep them far, far too long. They were nowhere nearly as effective as they should have been. So I thought if I go to the bamboo ones, I wouldn't feel that way. And I was right. So for $9.99 on Amazon, and if you subscribe, it's cheaper. So if you subscribed every year, maybe it's about $1 cheaper. So they're about 83 cents a piece. This is something that you could affordably throw away. But with 12 toothbrushes, you really could swap them out every month and be okay, as long as you weren't creating massive waste, right? So for cost, I actually scored it rather well. Being $9.99 for 12 toothbrushes, that's pretty darn good. It's like a 5-star rating if you ask me, because a plastic toothbrush can be anywhere between $3 and $12. So, and they still want you to swap them out every 3 months. So we'll see how this goes. I gave it 5 stars for cost because it is very cost effective. Now, packaging. This is what I was talking about a few minutes ago. When I first started buying them, they came with very basic, very bland, with recycled cardboard boxes. They did have ink on them, but they weren't glossy. This last time when I bought again, they were going all out on the looks. Glossy as all get out. Originally, one box, 12 toothbrushes. Now, one box, 6 little boxes on the inside, each with 2 toothbrushes in them. And these things are printed differently. They're using different paper or cardboard. I'm not happy with the packaging. The packaging, high gloss, high photo. It's like they're really trying to make it look like something different. But in the process, what's happening is they're using worse materials. So when I graded the packaging, I went with a 2 of 5. If they would have gone with the original system and I still had that, it certainly would have been at least a 4 of 5. When it comes to materials, you're talking about a bamboo toothbrush with nylon bristles. Now, I mean, it's not horsehair. Horsehair would obviously be better, but I'm not sure how many people stick horsehair in their mouths. These nylon 4 bristles, and I mean the 4 on purpose because there's different levels of nylon, are petroleum based. They are a plastic, if you will, but they do quickly biodegrade. The nylon 4 takes just a few months for them to biodegrade. Yes, horsehair is totally different. Again, hard to have that conversation. But bamboo and that nylon 4 bristles for material wise is about as good as you're going to get for something that will function and function well. And you'll find out a little later how they function. But those can biodegrade very quickly. I can throw them in the garden. I can throw them anywhere that's not the trash. And they just disappear after a few months. based on conditions, of course. It has to have some kind of oxygen getting to it, but if you bury it, if you bury it, it will take longer. So on the materials, I gave it a 4 out of a 5. I'm sure some of you will tell me that I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. I just like the biodegradability of it, and that if I'm going to be cycling through them like I should, I don't want them to stick around forever, just like the other ones did. Transit. When you buy them, they come from China. They get 1 star. This is coming from literally the other side of the planet. Worst case scenario. I need to be finding this kind of product somewhere close to me. And doing this assessment just reminded me of that. Coming from the other side of the planet, it uses massive amounts of fossil fuels. Not the way to go. 1 star on transit. Disposability and waste. Well, the longest period that these things can take to biodegrade is around 8 to 12 weeks, which really isn't that long. So you can put them in different places and just let them biodegrade. There isn't a big problem there. So if you brush for 1 month, it takes 12 weeks and it's gone. Remember, all those other toothbrushes, still here. You threw them away years ago. Your baby one that had Scooby-Doo on it, still around somewhere. This won't be that way. My experience is last. By the way, biodegradability, almost skipped over it. It's almost like I've never done this before. 5. I give it a 5. It moves out quick enough that I feel like we're okay with a 5. Both the bristles and the bamboo biodegrade. So the experience, total experience. I thought I'd have trouble with the concept of something wood in my mouth when I'm brushing my teeth. That was a non-issue. It was an easy one to resolve. I was over it in a matter of a couple of brushes with it. A little weird at first, but not bad at all. Now, you're supposed to swap these things out every month or so. You should. If you go more than a month, it starts to soften the bristles. You're not going to get the same kind of clean that you got when you first got it, but you can get rid of it with good intention because you know that it's going to biodegrade in a very short period of time and you can grab the next one. But a month and a half, 2 months is really about as far as you want to go. So you can take a 12-pack and make it last 2 years and have mostly biodegradable stuff. Unfortunately, the box is no longer as easily biodegradable as the product, but it's all better than the original toothbrush packed in their plastic wrap or whatever that bubble packaging is called. I did score it well. My experience with these is about a 4. Are they perfect? No, I wish they'd last a little longer. And they do work. They just don't work as good as I'd hope they do after like 2 months. So I try to change them out about every month and a half, maybe 2 months, and we're good to go. So I scored my experience at a 4. Again, I wish they'd kind of wear out a little bit slower, but I do understand things that don't wear out don't biodegrade. So these are things that I have to remember. And last, the total rating of my bamboo toothbrushes from Evico, I gave it a 3 out of 5, which for me, I think is still pretty solid. That is a pretty good overall score. And now, if I could find them local, that would change that score dramatically because then my transit wouldn't be a 1. Everything else was sitting pretty high except for transit and packaging. If they went back to their old packaging and I could find some that were warehoused here close, this is a heck of a product. I still like it, but I am going to start looking for a like product here a little closer. So that way I can kind of change that number a little bit, bump it a little bit, and kind of improve what I've already improved on. But either way, I really like bamboo toothbrushes, on top of the fact that I have a lot of them and I can take them camping and not worry about getting rid of them at a certain point. So in general, I would give it a shot. Bamboo toothbrushes are kind of nice. And if you get decent ones, you'll probably stick with them. Thank you so much for listening to my very first ever product review. And we do appreciate you joining us. If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend or on social media. If you want to help realistic sustainability, click a follow, click a like. Any of these things on your favorite podcast platform help us out tremendously. Leave a comment or even a 5-star review on iTunes. Those are a big deal. If you're like popular on iTunes, you suddenly become popular on everything. And last, if you feel like realistic sustainability is bringing some value to your life, well, you can always help us out a little bit financially. You can go to greeningyourlife.org/podcast, or just simply go to our Anchor site on anchor.fm and search Realistic Sustainability. You can do a one-time donation, or you can be set up to go for 99 cents a month for the next year. It's all very helpful to us. We greatly appreciate it. Maybe one of these days, all we can do, we can drop all of our normal jobs and just do fun sustainability projects. Well, that's my hope. Thank you so much again for listening and all of your support. And remember, we just get together to get a little bit better. Little bit, big bit. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Learning should always be fun. It's proven. When you make it fun, kids will remember. Here at STEMnetics, we believe in teaching kids about science, technology, engineering, and math by building projects. These students are building robots, rockets, electrical circuits, cars, and much more. STEM surrounds us, and the biggest companies in the world are tech companies. Let us help you support your little scholars and prepare them for the future. For more information, visit us at stemnetics.org.